Hey everybody, I am Jacob and this is Part-Time Film School. So this is going to be the first in hopefully a new series that we're doing here on the channel called Lit Review. So what's the topic? Well, this past weekend, I'm recording this on Monday, just after The Creator came out, and well, The Creator came out. And for months leading up to this, the rumor was Gareth Edwards, the director of Rogue One, had gone out and made a movie using the Sony FX3.
We shot The Creator on a new camera, Sony camera. It's called an FX3.
They really did shoot this movie on the Sony FX3. Now what's kind of incredible about that is that the movie had an $80 million budget, but the FX3 is a $4,000 camera. And if you look up the lenses that they used, they're about $10,000 lenses, which means in the grand scheme of filmmaking, it was a really inexpensive setup that they used. So why would they do that? Well, let me explain. So one of the things that makes the whole idea of shooting on a really small camera kind of useful is, one, it doesn't draw nearly as much attention, and it's really easy to move and to set up shots quickly. And these are all things that kind of interested Gareth Edwards as he wanted to go make his movie The Creator. And so if you listen to some of the interviews that he's given, he kind of tells the same story over and over again. And it goes something like this. The Sony FX3 has incredible ISO, meaning you can shoot in what he called basically moonlight. You just jack up the ISO incredibly high, and the sensor, being really sensitive, is able to pull in a whole lot of light despite it being dark outside. You take that along with a really small camera setup, small camera profile. I mean, the FX3 is a really small camera with, lenses sticking out about like this. And it's really easy to move and manipulate, but it's still recording a full frame image at a high quality image. If you look at the specs published on from Sony, they say that if you're using the external output to a device like the Atomos Ninja, you can take the HDMI signal in, and with the Ninja, you can record in ProRes RAW 16-bit-ish image. Now, that's a little bit misleading. My understanding is it's more of a 12-bit image, but it's ProRes RAW, so you can get a high-quality image by using the Sony FX3 and a recorder just like this. This is like a $500 recorder. It's not an incredibly expensive setup. So far you have a $4,000 camera, a $500 external recorder, and $10,000 lenses. And they're running around, places like Thailand just getting this footage. And that's the other way that they saved money and were able to make this big budget movie for not that much, is they had a relatively small crew and they just flew them to actual locations. And like they had the scene that they shot on a beach, and they didn't shut down the beach, which costs less money. And so you look really closely in the background, there's lights in the distance that were not in, they didn't put them there. They were just the actual landscape. And then what they did is they took all the footage, they edited the entire movie together, and then added all the CGI work. Almost the way that they used to do plates back in the day, that they would take a shot, and they did this in like the old Star Wars movies. You take a plate and then you would paint the image into the background. So like the famous scene of Obi-Wan Kenobi is going to turn off the reactor thing and the Death Star, the shield tractor beam. But like that whole shot of them falling down, it's like they didn't actually build a set that big. It's a paint. It's a painting on glass that they use, just special effects. And so they did something similar, as they basically added the special effects on top of the recorded image on a very affordable camera. So what's the takeaway? Well, Gareth Edwards showed that you can basically use a low budget style to make a high budget movie even more affordable. Now, they shot for like 80, $90 million, but had they not shot with this style, they brought in the big crew, it would have been like triple the budget. So he was able to get this much movie for this much money using this expensive camera. Now, for you and me, what does that mean? Well, $4,000 cameras is not out of reach for a micro budget filmmaker. You can go get that. You can go get an external recorder like this, a nice lens or two, and then you can run around in the woods and go shoot a movie. And if you know what you're doing on the computer, you can make it look like $1 million. And so that's what Gareth Edwards did. Anyway, that's the big takeaway. I saw the movie. I really enjoyed it. I'm not going to ruin anything, but you know, I went into it knowing everything that, you know, all this behind the scenes stuff. And, you know, I just got caught up in the movie and I just watched it and enjoyed it. And you're not watching it thinking, man, that's shot on a $4,000 camera. You get into the movie. Okay, so let me talk about some of the sources I used to learn what I did. Obviously, there's some behind the scenes work from 20th Century Studios, which is owned by Disney. They ultimately made the movie, so they have some behind the scenes interviews with Gareth Edwards and the cast that kind of show what they're doing. There is a great interview that Gareth Edwards gave at San Diego Comic-Con this summer that different people on the internet filmed and then posted. You can check that out. Some of the places I really enjoy going to for content like this is Frame Voyager. It's a great channel. He does fantastic breakdowns, and it really got me inspired watching his breakdown of the creator, so I highly recommend that. There's another great YouTuber. His channel is called In Depth Cine. He's a DP out of South Africa, I believe, and he did a nice breakdown talking about how the production value of prosumer cameras are getting closer to expensive cameras, and he uses the Sony FX3 as an example. So that's pretty cool behind the scenes. And then there's just really good interviews, like Josh Horowitz's interview on his podcast, Sad, Happy, Confused. I think that's what it's called. Happy, Sad, Confused. Anyway, that was a great interview with Gareth Edwards. I recommend you check out all these sources. Go learn some more, go investigate, and go find out what equipment will work for you and your projects. So, I hope you enjoyed this kind of new model of a video. My name's Jacob. This has been Part-Time Film School, and I'll see you in the next video.